Record. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Kentuckiana Travel Ball Podcast. My name is Teague. As always, I'm your host. I'm joined by Rick Hines. What's up, Rick?
Hey, Teague. What's up?
Man, you know, getting ready for Christmas. We are trying to plan our baseball season, and this is what this podcast is going to be all about. We're going to try to help you navigate what tournaments are out there, what tournaments you should be looking at, where you maybe should be going out of town, you know, who puts on the best tournaments, and so on and so forth. You think we can handle that, Rick?
Whew, man, that's a lot to handle. And our parents are probably wondering when our schedule is going to come out.
Yeah, this is true. But we're going to give this thing a shot. We are sponsored by Guardian Baseball, as you can see my sweatshirt here. Look, if you're looking to stock up before next season, the time's come. Guardian Baseball is hosting. They did a 9-inning holiday and Christmas sale, right? So they have very special deals exclusively for the listeners of our podcast, which is super cool. You can take 30% off of everything with the promo code TRAVELBALL.
Awesome.
So Guardian has restocked with tons of new equipment. This includes new Evo Shield guards, pants, sliding mitts, elbow guards, exclusive prints and colorways. They've also loaded up on Mariucci bats, Easton bats, all-star catching gear, fast pitch gloves, and more. If you need it, they've got it. Again, go to their website, use the promo code TRAVELBALL, guardianbaseball.com. They are the best in the business, and you cannot beat their prices. I've looked. I've done Christmas shopping for Talon, and their prices are incredible. So give them a shot.
Yep.
All right, so as we promised, we're going to get into tournaments, and then this is what this podcast is all about. There's no guests this podcast. We're going to simply talk about what tournaments you might want to look at in 2022. We're going to talk about some of the different tournament organizations and potentially some of your out of town tournaments. I did have some things filled out through a survey, through a form that I put out and asked some of our listeners to fill out. So we got a lot of great stuff there.
Awesome.
So Rick, where I'd like to start here is let's start by kind of some of the organizations that run events, right?
Well,
one of the first ones, one of our former guests would be HRBT Tournaments. So that's Sean Johnson, John Alvey, and they've joined up with like the Weber crew. So HRBT has some really awesome tournaments. In my opinion, they care. They do a really good job with their events. Actually, we were signed up for an event here locally. They got moved to E-Town. The price didn't change. It was still a good price. They do a really, really good job for what they offer.
yeah, they absolutely do. And you can find them on the USSSA website. And just, you know, they're mainly in the Louisville area. And like you said, they do a great job. They usually have really good fields, and they're very well run with some good umpires as well.
Organized. The awards are typically rings or better.
Yeah.
You don't normally go play there and get a medal or some sort of kind of trophy. It's typically a nice U-trip
You're usually
ring.
playing for a ring, and sometimes they're specially designed.
Yeah.
And
they have some really, like that Halloween Havoc ring's really cool.
the Mother's Day.
The pink bat ring.
Yeah.
So some of their marquee events are the pink bat, which is Mother's Day weekend, the Diamond Kings, which is Father's Day weekend. That's an invitational only deal. Border Wars is a big one for them. And then one of the ones that I like a lot is the Barrelhead Classic because of the trophy.
Yeah.
And the trophy's a barrelhead, right?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I remember us having that conversation once where we were like, hey, we need to go play in that because it'd be really cool for that particular trophy.
And that's part of what we look at too. Like, we try to vary it up. You know, we don't win every tournament, obviously, but have the chance to, let's say, win something different. You know?
Yeah.
Let's not get that same trophy or that same plaque or whatever, same ring. Let's try to change it up, try to get something different.
So I had pitched an idea to Sean, and he's all on board, and we're going to have to work out some logistics, but we're going to do an NCAA type selection show for the Diamond Kings.
Ooh.
So Diamond Kings is an invitational only event, and they try to get the best of the best. And typically, your better teams play in it. However, there's been teams I know in our age division that have gone on and done other things that weekend. It's a busy weekend. It's late June.
There's a huge tournament in E-Town that weekend too.
Yeah, so there's tough competition, but I think what this selection show could do would be able to take that tournament even up a notch. So what we're going to talk about doing here, particularly maybe on this set, is bringing in somebody like us that can talk about a specific age division. So once the brackets come out, and we're going to do that in kind of a cool fashion too, but once the brackets come out, then we'll do some analysis on who we think is going to be a tough matchup and, who we think is going to get to a certain part in the bracket. So I think it would be really cool. So we're trying to get that arranged for the Diamond Kings. And again, the HRBT guys, they're good guys. They typically do a really good job with their events.
Yeah, they do.
Another one that is local that obviously we know really well is the Ohio Valley Sports Productions. That's BJ Siegler and his crew. They've got so I'll rattle off a couple of their events here. That's, I think, ones that you should look at. Now, they do some in the Louisville area, but they're really big in kind of the Columbus, Seymour, Indianapolis, Brownstown, southern mid Indiana, right?
Central southern Indiana.
Yeah, so
mainly.
The Frozen Rope, early April. That's a good one. They've got the U-Trip Midwest Super Regional. That's in kind of late April. The Hoosier Showcase is a big one. That's in Columbus and Saraland. And Saraland, we'll get to Saraland in here in a second. The Summer Frenzy is early June. The Super Regional, which is kind of late June. And then they have a Summer Classic. And then they also have a Super NIT that's actually at Elizabethtown. And these are the guys that run the state tournament in Elizabethtown. Right. Rick, do you know, I'll be honest with you, I don't really understand or know the difference, but what is an NIT event?
So the NIT events, I don't pretend to know exactly, but they garner more points. So if you finish well and do well, you're generating more of those USSSA points. It's, let's say, more of a prestigious event to where they're divvying up a few more points.
Okay.
And if you look at the USSSA website, sometimes it'll have an NIT or a Super NIT.
Right.
And then just, let's say, the basic tournaments are just called your qualifiers.
Right.
So it's all about the points, and we actually know the points race very well now. And
we do, Team of the Year.
If you do want to keep an eye on that, you're doing yourself a favor by entering these NITs and these double point weekend events.
Yeah. So we actually, unbeknownst to us, we didn't even know we were doing it, but we got some points by being a part of one of those NIT things and doing well, and really it's what catapulted us in that thing.
Didn't even win it, and I'm like, what are we doing with all these points?
Yeah, we had a ton of points. We didn't even win. I think we were runners up or something, but it's pretty cool. All right, so another local tournament organization is Kentucky Select. Kentucky Select is ran by J.T. Bullock. They are typically in kind of the Danville, Lawrenceburg area. We know these events well. Harrodsburg, right? So we've played quite a few of these events. They're cheaper than normal events, than the other U-Trip type events. They're normally mid to high 200s, right? Okay. Where your HRBT tournaments and your Ohio Valley Sports are normally in kind of that 375 range to 425 range is kind of where those tournaments normally land. Yeah. The Kentucky Select events are good for... You need a tournament at the last second because you can typically get in. They normally don't sell out.
Yeah.
A couple of the bad things with them is there's not classes, so you don't know what you're going to get. Right. So you could go in there and play a major team. Next game you're going to play a single A team. It's all over the map.
Yeah, it's just a broad mix, and we've done several in the past, and you get a lot of teams you don't see very often from let's say the central part of the state and even like the eastern part of the state. So it's, right in the center of the state. So, it's easy to get to from multiple directions.
It is, and it's organized, and they do a pretty decent job. The fields are good. I wouldn't say great.
Yeah.
They're good.
You're not playing on turf.
You're not playing on turf.
Fields. I mean,
but you're gonna look.
They take care of them.
The price is less than some of these other events, and so the prizes are a little bit less too. You typically aren't paying for rings. They will let you know when you're playing for the rings. It'll kind of be in the title.
Yeah, they have a
battle for the rings.
They have
and those
a
kind of
list
things.
of what the trophy is.
But if not, you're normally playing for some sort of medal or some sort of trophy. But they do a good job with their events, and I certainly would suggest trying one out if you've got an off week. It's easy to get to from the Louisville area. Certainly, and again, it's organized and they do a good job with them. Another local organization, not so much local, but kind of the the Owensboro and Evansville is the 3 Up 3 Down. That is John Grass. If you're a U-Trip coach, you probably get his emails all the time.
Every day.
Yeah. Now, John's tournaments get great reviews. So his tournaments are in the mid 300 range. He's got one event people seem to love. So when I did my little survey, several people came back with this Armed Forces tribute, which is May 13th through the 15th.
Yeah.
It's in Owensboro.
It's in Owensboro?
Oh, no. Maybe that one's in Evansville.
Evansville, right?
I think it's Evansville.
We're going to sign up for that.
We need to find out. We should probably get that right to see if that's Owensboro or Evansville. I'm not sure. But I do know that people seem to really, really like that event. It sounds like John does a really good job with the organization, and they typically play for the U-Trip rings. And Jason Betts of KBC West, in our little forum thing, he said, hey, you must go play in Owensboro. Cheaper area, great events. So that's coming from Jason because he said that's a good place to go play. Now, we have not played there, but all accounts, all reviews I've seen seem like it's a really great place to go play.
That Armed Forces, it's saying it's in Evansville. So,
okay, that is in Evansville. Okay, well, again, it's I think that's that same organization, 3 Up 3 Down. It sounds like they do a really good job with their events. So, if you want a little bit of a travel but not a great distance travel, I think that'd be a really good one to try, either that Owensboro area or that Evansville area. Another one we haven't done that some people chimed in about that looks kind of cool. It's called Showtime Tournaments. They're in the Somerset and Lake Cumberland area.
Oh, okay.
All of their tournaments are the mid 200s to mid to up 200s, so the price is right. And what's really cool is there's a water park on site, and so all the participants get a pass for the water park.
Huh.
It might be something we need to look at, honestly.
Maybe. I mean, yeah, we've got a couple open dates where we're like, yeah, we're going to play, but we just don't know where.
It looks like they play for the U-Trip rings. Okay. It looks like the park's super nice. All of the pictures that I saw when I was doing a little bit of research looked like there was dirt mounds. Looked like a really nice place. And the water park thing seems to be like a pretty cool perk. So if making your way to the Lake Cumberland area seems like it's fits within your schedule, I think playing one of these Showtime tournaments probably wouldn't be a bad idea.
Nice.
Yeah, so that one's pretty cool. And then you've got all of the different athletics events. So your Aaron Flaker company events, so your game days, your pastimes, your verses. Now, all those are typically a little bit more.
Right.
So they're more mid 500s to mid 600s. They're more regional. So you get a lot more regional teams.
Yeah.
So it's you're not playing the local teams as much. They are open class events, so you don't know what you're going to get, but they are a little bit more expensive. It looks like the setup is very similar as the U-Trip events, to where it's pool play, single elimination on Sunday. They do start a lot of their events on Friday evenings, but we have not played in one of those. They do a ton in E-Town. Like almost every other weekend they're in E-Town. But it looks like they're a very well professionally ran organization that you're going to get a really good event out of. And through the survey, there was a few people that said go there. Now, there was a few people that said, hey, you're going to get the same thing out of your U-Trip events.
For
a lot less.
$200 more. Yeah.
So, look, we're going to be honest here. I mean, I'm not trying to bash them, but at the same time, I think you're paying a little bit more. Now, if you're paying a little bit more to go to E-Town Sports Park, I get that.
Makes sense.
I get that. That place is that cool and that nice. And I think one of my big things, and if you're listening, if you have not played at E-Town Sports Park, you've got to. I mean, it's
no question.
It's the Disney World of baseball, especially around here. People compare it to Grand Park and Indy, which we're going to go play out this year. We have not been to yet. But, man, E-Town's awesome. I mean, just the entire place is...
hard to beat. It's so hard to beat.
It is, right?
Right.
I mean, it's just...
Where are you going to find nicer? I mean, you might find a few things nicer, but, I mean, overall, it's hard to beat.
Yeah, I think so, too. I mean, it's just it's an awesome place. So, to me, playing in the U-Trip State Tournament should be something everybody does. And a lot of teams do.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get in if you don't get in early. It's a good point. At least try to. But I think that U-Trip State Tournament, they do such a good job with it. Now, there were so many teams last year. We started on Thursday?
Yeah, we started Thursday morning.
That was interesting.
Thursday morning at like 8 o'clock.
I do know we had some parents like, what the heck? How the heck are we supposed to make that work?
But there was like 30 teams in our age group.
Yeah, there was like 30 teams. So it was an early. That's right. We played Thursday morning, then we played Friday night.
Yeah, we played Thursday morning, Friday night, Saturday. Which, if you're doing that, make sure you look at the pitching rules. I will say that.
Yeah. So what happened to us there, Rick? Let's explain that a little bit.
Whew. All right. So, we'd never done that before. So we started on Thursday, and then we played Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Normally, we're just Saturday and Sunday. You got your 6 innings max, 3 innings max in a day to come back and pitch the next day, and 8 for the total tournament, and 6 in one day. So we're like, well, how does that work? Are they treating Thursday and Friday as like a Saturday? You throw 3 innings through those 2 days, and then so I asked the director, who was BJ, or one of his guys.
Yeah.
He's like, no, once you get to that 4th day, that first day falls off. It's like it doesn't even count.
Right.
But it kind of does count. So if you cannot pitch in 4 consecutive days, or I think in 3 consecutive days.
It might be 3.
So we had a kid, ended up being my kid. He pitched against one batter on Friday.
One batter.
But just to kind of get us out. And it wasn't even that close of a game, just to kind of get us out of it.
Well, we had asked beforehand.
Yeah.
So we thought we knew what we were doing.
Like, oh, well,
this wasn't us being just some dumb coaches.
It's going to fall off. Yeah.
We thought we knew what we were doing. We're like, all right, we'll put Eli out there. We'll get out of the inning. Yeah. It won't hurt us. We'll be fine. Because we knew we were going to pitch him later on Saturday.
Right.
But it ended up hurting us. So we couldn't pitch him on Saturday because of the whole rule. And it was kind of it hurt us.
Yeah, it's weird. So make sure if you're doing something that you're normally not accustomed to doing, make sure you know the rules.
Yeah, good point. Because we had never started on a Thursday before. So that was extremely new to us.
Right.
So that's a really good point. All right. So a couple other things here I want to kind of go over as far as like where to go. I'm going to rattle some things off here.
Okay.
The Louisville Slugger Dome in Peoria, Illinois. A lot of people said it's a must do.
Okay.
Now, I think that is a younger age deal. I don't even know if they go above 10 on those. They might, but I'm not sure. But a lot of people acted like that is just an awesome, awesome experience. Obviously, it's indoors. Mm-hmm. So it's a baseball field indoors, and I think it's just kind of an overwhelming thing when you walk in there. It's just a really, really cool experience. We've had a lot of people say, man, it's just awesome. So that's certainly something to look at. Again, I don't know what their ages go to. I don't know if it's over. It might be something you can look up real quick, Rick.
Yeah,
but
looking it up.
I think they keep that pretty young. But if you're in that 8, 9, 10 age group, I would certainly look at that Louisville Slugger Dome and look at it early March, because that's when you go and get some value out of it because it's still cold. You can go indoors and play. It's a little bit different because you're playing the ball off a wall or that type of thing, but it seems like it's a cool event.
It looks just my quick look up. They might have more options. It looks like 10, 11, 9, 8, 9, 10, 11, and they actually do have a 12U tournament.
Cool.
March 11th.
Okay.
Weekend.
Well, there you go. So maybe I was wrong on the ages, but that seems to be like that's something that people keep telling us you got to go try.
Looks like it maxes out at 12U.
Okay. So Coach McVoy of the Indiana Bulls 12U, he made a comment saying the Branson week-long is a must. Might be something we want to look at there. Now we looked at Branson. Is it now? So is Branson? Is that the one that's crazy expensive?
It's basically like Cooperstown. You have, and I think they actually give you the option. You can treat it like a kind of like a minor league team where you go. You stay the week. Kids stay in like a bunkhouse with the coaches. Laundry facility. They provide your meals. You got a bed.
Interesting.
Everything's right there. I think they do have an option to where you just sign up just to play, and you got to find your own hotel. But I think they do have that option, a la Cooperstown, to kind of treat it as a total
interesting
experience.
Okay, all right. Well. So it's any idea what the prices are?
It's if you want to stay with that experience, I think it's $1,000 a kid, a little over $1,000 a kid.
Interesting. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot for one event.
All your meals are provided just for that kid, but the rest of the family's kind of
on their own, and they got to find another place to stay on their own too, right?
So it could get pricey. I think, which is now the Ironman coach Brian Haggart. He did it last year.
Yep.
And he said it was amazing, and they had a huge fundraiser for it. So I think it offset a whole bunch of costs for them.
Gotcha.
So,
yeah, I mean, look,
it sounds awesome.
If you can pull off the financial end, it sounds pretty incredible.
The fields are like replica Major League fields. I think they have the Green Monster for
Do
Boston,
they really?
And they have like a St. Louis.
I thought that was the Cooperstown thing.
I don't know about Cooperstown.
Okay. I thought that, but that's awesome.
I know the Ripken Experience has some of that too.
So that's another one, the Ripken Experience in Pigeon Forge. They've got two different options there. So earlier in the season, you can go do a weekend tournament. Once you get into the summer, it's more of the week-long kind of events where you got to go, and it's more of they do some training. They bring in MLB ambassadors. I mean, Cal Ripken might be there. They have some big names that come in for these particular events, and that's another one that's pretty expensive, but pretty cool at the same time.
Yeah, we looked into that too. Again, it's you're paying for what you get. You're paying for that experience. So again, if we were going to do something like that, that'd have to be in the works maybe the year before and start fundraising.
Yeah, that's something you've got to have planned for sure. A lot of the things we've heard was anything in Grand Park.
Okay.
So we'll be reported on that because we're going to go play there at least once this coming spring. But
I've driven by there, it looks pretty nice.
Yeah, a lot of people compare it to E-Town.
Yeah.
I think it's very similar to the E-Town complex, except for the parking is like crazy.
Yeah.
Not that E-Town's not when you can't find a parking spot up close, but it sounds like that's going to be an awesome place to play. So Grand Parks gets rave reviews. Now, their events are typically a little bit more expensive, and finding the right event can be difficult.
Yeah, and I think a lot of them, are they stay and play or?
Yeah, most of them are stay and play.
Okay, so you got to use their hotel management systems.
And look, man, and we've talked about this. I'm not a huge fan of the stay and play. All of the game day events, all of the athletics events, those are stay and play.
Yeah.
And the reason being, it's a way for these tournament organizations to make money. So if you were to call the Marriott and they would tell you, oh yeah, we're $110 that night. Well, you're still not allowed to book it. You have to go through the event, and it's $140 that night.
Right.
So they're making that extra markup, and it's just, to me, it's crazy because you're not allowed to go do your own research. You're not allowed to go find your own price. And I come from a travel agency background, not me personally, but my mom was a travel agent, and my wife does a little bit of it, and we've been in the Marriott circle before, and we can go get really good rates, but that's all out the window.
Right. Yeah, which I'm with you. I think, and I think the spin they put on it, well, we're making it easy on you. Here's all the available bookings, and
yeah, that's
I'm like, nah,
crap.
We're good. We'll find our own.
Yeah, well, and we were playing it, and we were naive. We were 9 years old or 10 years old at one point, and we were like, oh, we're gonna go play up in this tournament up in Ohio, and it was stay and play. We're like, oh, well, we're not gonna do that. We'll be fine because we can get discounted rates through Marriott and this and that. And then they're like, oh, no, you have to, or you got to pay a $500 or $700 fee, whatever it was.
Right.
By the time we paid that fee and you added in our discount, it was about the same thing. Yeah. So it was kind of like, man, it makes it harder on you.
Yeah, that's why they put that fee there.
Right. I get it.
So that fee is basically what they're making off your team.
Look, I know there's several coaches that avoid staying in place. They won't play. They won't play in that tournament because of that very fact. So I wish tournaments wouldn't do that, but it's part of it. Is what it is.
Yep.
One of the places somebody had mentioned was South Haven, the Snowden Grove complex, and I guess that's Missouri,
Mississippi,
or Mississippi. Yeah, Mississippi,
just south of Memphis, like just over the border, right?
So that looks like kind of a cool place to potentially go and play. A tournament that somebody highly suggested was the U-Trip Spring Super NIT in Atlanta, Georgia. So that's an interesting one. You might want to go give a look. The Grand Slam Worlds in Panama City, Florida. Man, I tell you, a lot of Kentucky teams go and play in that. It's a way to go have a vacation at the beach. We played in it last year, and we loved it. It was great.
I thought it was awesome.
The park's incredible.
I thought it was, we were dealing with a hurricane, the remnants of a hurricane, so the aftermath was when we started. So there was a little bit of a scheduling nightmare, but it ended up working out. Turf fields, you can do a lot with them, and I thought it was pretty well run for what they had to do.
We played at the new park there, which is the Panama City Sports Beach complex or whatever.
Yeah, it's almost brand new.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, some of the tournament we didn't have to do because some of the tournament we knew some of the teams from Louisville actually were playing. They were playing at the Frank Brown complex. Yeah. And I think it's nice, but it's not as nice as the new one. So I know they use both, but man, they do a good job of the event, and it's they care. To me, it's all about finding these tournament directors that care and want it to be a good experience for the kids, and it's not all about the money.
Yeah.
Sometimes you run into these events where I feel like it's all about the money. Yeah. It's not so much about the experience. And so the Grand Slam Worlds in Panama City, it's more about the experience than it is the money.
And that's the organization, is that Grand Slam organization. They put on tournaments locally throughout, northern Florida and southern Georgia and stuff like that. So
that would be one I would certainly highly recommend.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're looking for a
destination,
a beach tournament, it's a really, really good one. And it's not stay and play. So you do whatever you want from a hotel's perspective, which
go stay in a motel
down
the road, or you can stay in a high-rise condo on the beach.
Which is, so again, the Grand Slam Worlds in Panama City is certainly worth looking at. Midwest tournaments in Columbus, Ohio at Berliner Sports Park. That's one that people highly suggest. It's kind of a cool one. Okay. Blackbeard class in South Carolina. There's a Nashville Pastime tournament that's supposed to be really, really, really good. Now, normally the Pastime events kind of start at that 14-year-olds and go up, and it's more of your high school type age kids.
Right.
But there are a couple Pastime tournaments that get to a little bit of the younger ages, but apparently there's a really good one in Nashville. There's a Johnson City, Tennessee tournament that's supposed to be really nice. I don't know when the date of that is. There's a PBR tournament in Indianapolis. A lot of your better teams go and play. A couple more people voting for the Branson. We're going to have to give this Branson thing a look, man, because it's,
I think we're running out of time. I think it only goes up to 12U too. Their fields are a certain distance. I think once you get.
So if we don't do it this year, we're out.
Yeah, and same thing, I had mentioned Cooperstown. That's a 12U only event. Like it's, And talking to Jalen Spalding, he said he registered the year before just to make sure he got in. So,
wow.
I mean, these are, though I think that Branson and the Cooperstown, they're pretty prestigious events. For whatever you want to call prestigious, or just very well run, very well attended. So, start planning. You 9Us, 10Us, 11Us. Start planning now for that 12U year.
And if you're looking that up, that's the Ballparks of America. Is what you want to search there. That's who puts those events on a Branson one. Yeah, that's the Branson one. So, again, if you're going to Branson, we want to know. Reach out and tell us, or if you've been, and if you think it's something that somebody like us should bend over backwards to try to do, please let us know. And then the Omaha Slump Buster. That's interesting. So that's during the College World Series, right?
Yeah, which I would be a huge fan of going.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now, there's not much in Omaha.
No, but, if you love baseball, you get to watch some great college level tournament. And,
but it's not like it all. And correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not like tickets to the event come with anything, right? I mean, you still got to buy tickets to the College World Series and
buy tickets and all that.
Yeah.
They're not going to make you go.
But it's not a bad idea. It's pretty cool. If you want to do nothing but baseball,
There's got to be something in Omaha.
I don't know.
It's a good steak restaurant.
Yeah, there's probably some great steak restaurants there, you would think. And then the last thing here, again, gosh, Branson, Ripken Experience at Pigeon Forge. So the Field of Dreams in Iowa. What do you think, Rick?
Whew, that's another tough one to stomach. So you're going to go there and you're going to play baseball.
You know,
you're going to see the Field of Dreams, and that's about it.
Which would be pretty cool.
It would be pretty cool.
You know, I tell you, when we were trying to convince some of the team moms of what we're trying to do this coming spring and summer, Iowa was not hitting well with our moms.
That was quickly turned.
It was like, we're not going to Iowa. No,
Yeah,
you can mark that one
And
down as a no. Yeah, and Omaha was another one. And so, and actually, we had a couple team moms who were like, look, we've been to the College World Series. We're not doing the Omaha trip.
Yeah.
You know, and here's a debate, Rick, and you and I actually might even be on different sides of the fence with this, but if you're going to go to a destination type place, be it Omaha, Iowa, Panama City, I know Myrtle Beach has a really nice baseball youth World Series event. If you're going to go to one of these places, we've had some people on in the past that say, hey, look, we're there to play baseball. And you do not get in water until after events, or you don't do it on game days. There's a lot of that type of mentality of we're here to compete. Now, there's another set of parents who are like, look, this is our vacation. Baseball comes second. So if we win, fine. If we don't, if we get killed, whatever, we're here for our vacation. So there's a couple different schools of thought there, and it's kind of interesting.
I am 1,000%. I'm probably on the wrong page of you, so I'm 1,000%. It's a vacation. Yeah, you know, we're gonna play some baseball, but we're there to have fun. We're there to hang out with our team, hang out with our family. And for me, it's hard to stomach because, you know, we're spending a lot of money to get down there, and you know, we might not have another vacation all summer. So, I mean, you know, baseball's our summer, and that's part of it. But we're also throwing in this vacation with baseball, so we can have at least some sort of vacation. So, you know, right now he's 12. You know, it's not the end of the world if we don't win.
I get that, man. I think my competitiveness doesn't let that part come out because I want to go down there and compete. And I know that when we're playing these teams from the southern states, that going to a beach isn't a big deal.
Right.
Just being at the pool day isn't a big deal to them. They're going to be a lot more well rested than we are, and
Sure.
they're
probably a little more baseball focused.
They are,
you know?
and it
Makes more
just
sense.
it puts you behind the eight ball as far as being able to compete. When you go down there and your kids have spent all day at the beach, and now we got to go try to play a baseball game. Yeah. I totally get what you're saying. I get it. I get it 100%. But my competitiveness wants us to go down there and try to win some baseball games. And so, and I get it. They're 12 years old. Who cares if we win or lose? I understand. That's one of those things. But you know, it was funny. I don't even know. I don't remember who it was, but somebody on the Facebook group, the Kentuckiana Travel Ball Facebook group, they made a comment about you crazy coaches, crazy parents paying $1,600 or more to be a part of these teams. Heck, my kids got paid to play baseball, and we won a World Series. And I was like, it was just a weird comment. Did you see that comment?
Yeah, I think that all happened last night, didn't it?
I don't know if it was last night.
Yeah,
it was recent.
It just spun into a whole snowball.
I started thinking of the Mark Paul. He's like, World Series, yeah, who'd you always? There were 4 teams. You know, it's like, oh, okay.
And then we went and played in another World Series, and then another one.
Yeah.
You can literally find a World Series every week.
You know, I want to know how they got paid to play. They have that much sponsorships? They just make money?
Evidently, I don't know. That was so bizarre to me. Like, why even put that out there?
Yeah.
Like, you're just opening yourself
Look,
up.
here's where I'm at with this whole thing. And so there's a team, somebody sent me a schedule the other day. there's a team in the 12U division that has 6 tournaments that are 6+ hours away. 6 tournaments.
Yeah.
And they're playing in a total of like
17
Yeah.
or something.
a lot. A lot. This is a really great team, if not the best team in the area that's doing all this. And to me, when I first saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, well, that would never fly for us. But I guess what? If it does for your team,
Hey,
more power to you.
got 10, 11, 12 families on board.
I'm not talking smack about that.
Heck no.
I would love to do that.
Right.
I'd be all in on that. I just, there's just no way that I would have that time or our families would have the resources to make that happen. It's just, that's not us. But
Hey, if you
can,
that, yeah, go.
man,
go
I think
for it.
that's cool.
Yeah. Hey.
I mean, look, I love going on baseball trips. If we go do 6 of them, let's do it.
Yeah.
But, I'm not going to make fun or talk down to someone or a team that's trying to do that, because more power to them, man. I look, maybe you're jealous because you're not doing that. That's the only thing I can say. Haters are going to hate, right? But to me, gosh, man, I'm envious, not jealous. I'd love to be going
I'm a
doing
little
that.
jealous too. Yeah. We get into the season and you have those scheduled times off, weekends off, and every single one of those weekends I'm like, oh man, I wish we were playing right now. Like,
how many
every
times have
single
you
one of them.
texted me and been like,
I'm like,
what are we doing? Why are we just sitting here and not doing anything this weekend?
this sucks. Why aren't we playing baseball right now?
Right, seriously.
I'm seeing all these teams play on Game
Yeah.
Changer, and we're not one of them.
Seriously, man. It's like every time. It's like,
Every
why are we
weekend,
not
without
playing?
doubt. Yeah.
Because you get into this groove of playing every weekend, and it's like when you take a weekend off, it's like, what are we doing? It just feels weird.
And it's either you're coming off a tournament, you either played well or didn't play well, and it's both the same thought. It's like, oh, we played so bad. I wish we were playing this weekend just to get that taste out of our mouth. Or, oh man, we did awesome this weekend. I want to keep that going. What if we take a weekend off and then we lose that momentum? It's like, you just hate taking weekends off. But
I know, man. And then in the way that Easter falls with spring break in our area this year, it's tough.
yeah,
So it'd be interesting.
we were kind of handcuffed.
We normally take all that off.
Yeah, and 3 weekends in a row.
But I mean, look, some of your other teams are like, there is no spring break. Your spring break is baseball.
Right.
I remember back in the high school days, you did not go on spring break. You played baseball. And it's one of those things where it's, I don't know, man.
High school's a little different. I think a lot of
high school's
teams,
way different.
They have a trip built in for the team, A
Ah,
lot of
that or your 2-a-days.
or you're staying home and you're playing baseball.
You're playing baseball.
Yeah, there's no.
And for a baseball family, a baseball kid, spring break is typically baseball.
Yeah.
Now, we're not there yet with our teams.
No.
We have families that are like, screw you, we're going on vacation.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't say screw you, but it's
If you're going to play, you're playing without me.
yeah, and they're okay with that. Yeah. But, the vacation comes, and I get it, man. We're still at that age where it shouldn't be that important, right? That you should put family stuff
first.
behind. I
I
get it. And to your point about the whole vacation thing, I get that, right? Mm-hmm. It's just my competitiveness in me. It's just, that makes it hard. It's just a hard pill for me to swallow. But I understand, and I certainly see that point of view. And I see the point of view of the parents wanting to be able to do their own thing that has nothing to do with baseball during a spring break too. I understand that. Yeah. I also understand not playing on Easter weekend. So, for us, we're going to have 3 weekends off in a row, and that's tough. Because within that period of time, we're not going to be practicing as much. It's going to be like starting over.
That's about the time, the weather starts warming up.
Yeah.
Because we're going to have a few tournaments in early. Our first tournament's very first weekend in March. It's going to be pretty cold, probably.
Oh, I didn't think.
And we didn't mention that tournament.
Yeah,
either.
the Y'alls.
The Florence Y'alls.
So, really cool park. It's a independent league.
Kind of a new event last year, right?
Yeah.
Got it kind of rolling. They had some availability with, COVID and everything going on, so they decided to put on some.
And it was a raging success, so they've continued it. They care. They do a good job. You get to play in it's a minor league field, so the kids get to go out in the cool dugouts, and our kids
are built
loved it.
Underground. Yeah, they had a great time.
Loved it. So we're going back and playing in the 12U event, which we highly, highly, highly recommend. I think this year you had to be in on it pretty early because it filled up pretty quick.
Yeah, they got limited spots because they have literally one field.
And it's an open event. So, I mean, there's a single A team in it, and there's all kinds of triple A teams in it. So it's going to be an interesting field. It's going to be tough competition.
Yeah.
But we're very much looking forward to it. So if you've got an opportunity to go play in that Florence Y'all's events, we highly recommend it.
Yep. Good time.
All right, Rick. So in the next few weeks, we're going to hit on a few other things. So today was helping you, hopefully giving you a little bit of information as far as putting together your 2022 schedule. We're going to talk apparel. We're going to talk indoor training. We're going to talk off-season type of drills and what you need to be working on, among a bunch of other stuff coming up in other podcasts. We may or may not have some guests come in. What I think I want to try to do potentially next week is have some apparel guests on. Talk about what options are, lead times, how that world's changed. The supply world right now has changed. So if you have not ordered jerseys, you're probably not going to have them type deal. So
right. Better get those T-shirts made with your team mom's cricket.
I'm telling you, man, if you're getting stuff that has to come from overseas as far as from the actual material, you're in trouble.
That's what I've heard.
We just dealt with it in a basketball situation, and we still don't have them.
Months upon months.
And season 2's coming, week 2's coming up. So, yeah, it's and we ordered it a long time ago. So you need to be on top of this apparel thing. So maybe next week we will dive into that. I want to bring on the guy from Flyboy, who everybody loves. He's got some cool stuff to say. So we may even bring in one of our Guardian guys to see what they're doing from a team apparel side of things. So I'm looking forward. We'll do team apparel next week.
And hey, you mentioned basketball. This is the off season, but I want to give a shout out to what John Wright. He's putting in this basketball league.
Yeah.
So it's baseball teams playing basketball, and we decided to give it a shot this year. He did it last year for the first time. We're like, let's give it a shot. We got some basketball players on our team.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good idea. It's good conditioning. It's good team bonding. Half these kids don't really play basketball, but it's just kind of fun to see them compete.
Yep.
In a different arena
that's not baseball,
not normal too. So
and you have to be part. You have to be on your baseball roster to be part of this particular team, this league. It's a great idea. It's a great deal. I highly recommend that thing as well.
Yeah.
You know, the more you talk to some of these high level coaches, the more they'll tell you you need to get your team doing things together outside of baseball.
Right.
And this was just one of those opportunities for us to put our team together, to go compete, to create some team bonding. You know, week 1's in the books, and it was fun, and so we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Awesome. All right. Well, so again, Guardian Baseball. If you're buying gifts, you have time. They're local. Go use the code TRAVELBALL. That's TRAVELBALL. Use it in the promo code section. Get 30% off. We'll be back next week with some apparel recommendations.
Apparel, all right.
It's hard to beat that Flyboy stuff.
He has some cool stuff.